I believe that there are times in our lives when we are asked to go to the next level. Right, Stephanie? Right. Anthony Robbins says, there's always room in your life for thinking bigger, pushing your limits, and imagining the impossible. Why were you called to be here? You were called to be here in this room. Listen, some people said yes. You said yes to the call. Some people heard the call and didn't say yes. Why? You're ready. You have a bigger future vision of yourself. Say, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Right? The reason you are in this room is that your soul is calling for expansion and growth. Right, Patty? Your soul knows it's ready. You are ready for progress. And progress is a combination of forward motion and taking action. And here's what I believe. In life, the training never stops. Because if you don't grow, you die. Right? If you want a really, really great life, here's what I've learned. You must invest in yourself. That's it, right? Stacy said 17 years and $100,000. Right? You must invest in yourself with 4 things. Write this down. If you want a really great life, you invest in your time. This is a mindset session I just want you to get. You invest in your time, in your energy, in your effort, and in your financial resources. Because we talked about this on the first night. You are your greatest investment. Yeah? I've invested in other companies. I don't know what I was thinking. I invested in other companies with my mother. When my mother died, I got an insurance check. I could have invested it in my business. I regret that because I made no money investing in somebody else. I could have used that money to invest in myself because I'm in control when I invest in myself. Yes? Yes? Yeah. You are your greatest investment. And I believe that each and every one of us is meant for something great. You have that acorn right here. But here's what I also know about us as entrepreneurs. When we are left to our own devices, very few of us reach our own potential. You said it back there. I cannot do it alone. And then you said it back there. There's nothing wrong with not wanting to do it alone, right? What I know is that without support, without guidance, and without accountability, you cannot get out there and play a bigger game. There are just too many obstacles, too many people in that crab pot, is that what you call, trying to pull you down? Yeah? And so Helen Keller said, alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. Teamwork is the fuel. Teamwork is the fuel that allows common people like you and me, right? We're common. Attain uncommon results. Teamwork. In fact, teamwork allows you to create results that astounds others. Like, whoa, how did you do that in such a short period of time? And the power of a like-minded group of advancing entrepreneurs creates big breakthroughs. Yes, right? And so we talked about the power of association last night. Who you associate shapes who you are. Did you see that? Yes. Uncommon results that astounds others. Who you listen to and who you take advice from creates your income. Who you spend time with is who you become. And it, like I said yesterday, it doesn't mean ditch your friends and family. Turn to the person next to you and say, phew, phew. In nutrition school, I learned that you don't eliminate bad foods. I'm just going to call them that, right? You crowd them out. You just fit more good foods onto your plate, and then naturally, the other foods just don't take up that much space in there anymore, right? And it's the same thing with the company you keep. So it means you add new people to listen to. You add new people to spend time with. I mean, Kathleen Mundy has a 7-figure business, and she comes to see us once a month. Right? New people to spend time with. People who think positively about their future, not people who talk about the price of gas. Like, for real? I'm thinking so much bigger, right? People who know they have a bigger future and they know you have a bigger future, right, Elvira? Yeah. People who have resources you don't have. People who have shortcuts. They've already done it. They're like, oh, here, just take mine. I did it last week. People who come from abundance and not lack and scarcity. Breathe that in. People who have the same values about growth than you do. There are some people who don't want you to grow. We want you to grow. Woo! Right? People who are already where you want to be. And what you achieve in your life is in direct correlation to the expectations of your mentors and your peer groups. Right? If you said you were going to do something, you know you're not coming back in 90 or 120 days or get on your accountability call tomorrow morning and not do it. Right? You know when you promise somebody you're going to run after having surgery on both legs, you're going to do it. Right, Laura? Damn straight. What does your current peer group talk about and complain about? What does your current peer group let you get away with? Say it with me. Ouch. Certain structured peer groups spark their members to achieve a higher level of accountability, right? A higher level of mentorship helps you turn years into months and months into days. Turn to the person next to you and say, I want that. Here's what I know. With the right mentorship, I live this. Here's one thing you want to know about me. Most people walk their talk. I do not walk my talk. I do not walk my talk. You'll never catch me walking my talk. I talk my walk. I walk it, and I don't talk about it until I walk it every day, and then I talk about it. So if I'm telling you that if you are an advancing entrepreneur who is successful, you must have structured accountability and peers and mentorship, it's because we live it. Derek and I live it. And it helps you, that kind of structure helps you accomplish results so much faster than you would on your own. Look at what I've been able to create, right? I'm the same as you. I may just be a year or two ahead. Yeah, seriously, that's really what it comes down to. And so when you are in this right peer group and you have mentorship, you get the step-by-step guidance you wouldn't otherwise have access to. You get the expert coaching you wouldn't have access to otherwise. You get the unconditional support from a team of like-minded people you wouldn't normally have access to. You get the accountability that you wouldn't normally have access to. And there's that healthy sense of competition, right? I'm not a competitive person, but there's that healthy sense of, I really need to get this done before I see them again. Yeah. I've got to get it done before I get on the phone with her tomorrow. So that's why you're able to create results in weeks that people would take years to do. Now, how do I know this? I've tried it all. I've tried the DIY approach that, who was it that mentioned it? I think Allison mentioned it, trying to do a DIY, do-it-yourself support group, right? When you do it on your own, or when you do it with those who don't know what they're doing, there is no best practices, there's no expert coaching, there's no accountability, there's no peer support, there's no commitment, there's no encouragement. It's like the blind leading the blind, wondering why they're not getting anywhere. How do I know? I've been there. I've tried to do it myself. Is it okay that I'm sharing best practices with you? Okay. All right. Entrepreneurs are some of the most overwhelmed people on the planet. Would you agree? Yes, raise your hand. Yes, you know it, right? You don't know what you don't know about what to do first, but it's urgent for you to know what you don't know, because that's how you create results. And entrepreneurs can also be some of the loneliest people on the planet, right? Yeah. So when is the high-achieving entrepreneur most productive and confident? You tell me. When they're with other high-achieving entrepreneurs. See, when we're being shown exactly what to do in the order to do it in a step-by-step fashion, when we have the structure and accountability, when we have the clarity, when we have measures in place to keep us focused, when there is an environment that is built for us to keep us on track, everything changes. Would you say? Yes. Yes. And when we are regularly associating with other advancing entrepreneurs, everything changes. That's been true in my own life, right? I think it was Stacy that said, there's the phone, the computer, the window, and the husband, and the dog, and that's it. It's really, you need different perspectives, right? We live this, and that's why Derek and I have been able to create so many results. I mean, you saw them yesterday, right? The Entrepreneur of the Year and the Inc. magazine list 2 years in a row, and building these 5 schools and the yummy clients. It's simply because I've borrowed 10,000 hours here, and I've borrowed 10,000 hours here, and I've borrowed 10,000 hours here, and I've borrowed 10,000 hours here. I've invested in myself. Is that okay? Yes. That's the shortcut. But not the shortcut in a cutting corners kind of way, right? So we've been able to do this by seeking existing systems. We've been able to do this by having structures for best practices and by surrounding ourselves with other advancing entrepreneurs. Do you want to know who I mastermind with? Yeah. I mastermind with people who look at my income and say, oh, that's nice. I remember when I used to make that. I don't see it as pejorative. I'm like, really? So tell me, like, what are you doing? There are people that we mastermind with who make $2 million a week. I learned from them. They make $1 million in a weekend. I pay the big bucks to join those so I can walk it and then talk it to you. Yes? You're welcome. So what makes an advancing entrepreneur a victor versus a victim, right? Advancing entrepreneurs do not reinvent the wheel. Can we just agree to that? Yes, they don't reinvent the wheel. They do not try to figure it out on their own. Woo! Right? They learn best practices from those who have already mastered it. Advancing entrepreneurs continually invest in themselves. Continually. Did you notice that I told you about a guy who makes $2 million a week and he's in a mastermind? He probably makes more money than all of us put together, and he still invests in himself. That's a big deal, right? Right? The training never stops. In fact, I gave him advice. I gave him advice. Do you want to know what advice I gave him? He's at the playground with his 2 kids, 3 and 5-year-olds. What do you think he's on? BlackBerry the whole time. Works 7 days a week. What do you think I told him? Put it down. What's more important? Another $1 million or your kids? Guess what he does now? He should be a Goldie. He leaves the BlackBerry at home now. Okay? You learn, like Kathleen said, you learn from everybody. Everybody, right? Advancing entrepreneurs continually invest in themselves, and they continually surround themselves with other advancing entrepreneurs. Right, Ron? Absolutely. Absolutely. And they are willing to do whatever it takes. Are you willing to do whatever it takes? Yes, raise your hand. Look around. Look around. Yes. They're willing to take chances when other people aren't willing to take chances. Right? It took a chance for you to come here, right? How many of you don't really know me that well? Yeah, look. It took risk to come here. Are you glad you did? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Advancing entrepreneurs believe in modeling other successful people. They are not too cool for school. Turn to the person next to you and say, I am not too cool for school. They also don't rest on their laurels, right? Advancement is key, right? They don't say, okay, I've reached my goal. I'm successful now. I might as well take a nap. Right? Right? They always ask, what's next? And so you may be asking, what's my next move? How will I continue this?